Go down, Moses, way down to Beijing, China. Tell all those communists, let my people go. Hello, friends. That's what we have to do today. We have to take our staff in hand and, like Moses, go to Pharaoh, and tell him, let my people go. Tell the Chinese Communist Party, the wicked regime which rules China, the Chinese government, to let my people go. Let the Uyghurs go. Let the ethnic group, the Uyghurs, and the others that they're holding in internment camps, maybe 1 million people, let them go. Let the children and the parents be reunited. The children taken out of the boarding schools they were forced to go to. The mothers taken back from the work camps they were forced to work in. The families reunited to be able to live like normal people with full human rights and civil rights. How do we tell China to let my people go? I believe the best way to do that, my friends, is through the corporations which do business with China, which nearly every country today has trade with China, including Israel, where I live, here in the Middle East. We have to tell our companies who deal with China that they have to speak to their customers there and tell them that we're very unhappy about the Uyghurs being put in detention camps. Let me explain to you the strong parallel between what Pharaoh did to the Hebrews in Egypt long ago, which we celebrate every year. We celebrate the going out from Egypt every year during Passover. Let me tell you the strong parallels between that and what the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, is doing today to the Uyghurs. At first, as we read about in the book of Exodus, the Pharaoh in Egypt, he really wanted to kill all the Hebrews, but he couldn't tell his people that. So he started with a small euthanasia program. He told the midwives who deliver the Hebrew babies, when you see a male baby, kill it. But that didn't work. So then he expanded the program, and he told the entire people that they have to throw the male babies into the river. And then after that, he enlisted the entire police force to go check and see if they're doing that. And only after that did he put the whole people in slavery, enslaved them. And first he made it act like it was a positive thing, say, oh, everyone has to do national service, and Pharaoh himself went and worked for a day in the work camp. But eventually it became just base slavery. And similarly, today, the Chinese Communist Party has put up to 1 million of their citizens in internment camps because, like the Pharaoh of old, they say we fear that they're going to cause trouble and join our enemies, etc. But that is just a manufactured lie. In fact, the Chinese Communist Party uses the fact that most of the Uyghurs are Muslims as a tool against them. It deliberately tries to portray them as Muslim terrorists and radicals, which they're not. They even they set up programs to train some of the Muslims in schools in Pakistan and elsewhere. And even more horrible, what the Chinese Communist Party did, many people don't know, they sent over 30,000 ignorant Chinese Uyghurs across the border to help them escape the border. And then they arrived, and they were flown to Turkey. And from Turkey, they were taken to Syria to fight in the civil war there, where almost all of them, 20,000 of them, were killed during the first weeks of their fighting there. They deliberately radicalized some of the Uyghurs, and then they point to them as terrorists. So please write to the companies that you use, like for example, I own stock in United Parcel Service. United Parcel Service, the package delivery company, they have offices in Shanghai and they ship packages in and out. So I wrote to the investor relations and I said, what are we telling the Chinese about what's happening with the Uyghurs? Because if it seems that for now, for what the little information we have, that they're not bringing more people into the camps now because of the little international pressure which was put on them, but they haven't let those out that are there either. So the more pressure there is, the more hopefully they'll let them out. Because not all the Chinese hate the Uyghurs, just like not all the Germans hated the Jews. But although many Chinese probably do, just like many of the Germans did. But we see even their sympathy for the Uyghurs when there was a recent fire in one of the Uyghur cities related to the COVID lockdown, and a number of Uyghurs were killed. People lit candles for them as a protest, a memorial protest across China. And it's significant because they did it, they knew they were Uyghurs. That was the biggest protest. So it seems as if the rank and file Chinese are not necessarily happy about what's being done to the Uyghurs. But it's a centralized system there, and they're isolated. The communists, the group around the premier in China is isolated from the people. They're protected by all the security people. And it's a tremendous large party with millions of members. But there's millions and millions of people that are not members of the Communist Party and seemingly or assumedly do not love what they're doing. So let's make our voices heard. Let's tell the Pharaoh, the Chinese Communist Pharaoh, let my people go. Thank you.